going to show you a good way to make a door in Roblox 2025. Really easy, it's efficient, and it's easy to set up for any game. So first off, we're going to need a door. And you can use a part or you can use a mesh part. I'm going to use a mesh part. And scale it down. And then we're going to do a little setup here. So the most important parts of this door is you need to have this door in the model. So this is our model. Put the door inside. It's going to rename it to door. And the reason why we need a model is because we need to edit the pivot. So you go to model, edit the pivot, and do the opposite of where the door handle is. So just move there. Okay. Close off. And now we need to set up the tag. So this is how we're going to be using collection service to collect the doors in your game. For instance, if you have multiple doors in your game, they would all work using the code that we're going to write. So we need a proximity prompt. I'm going to put that inside the mesh part and set up the duration, distance. I'm going to add a C-frame value. So the method I'm going to show uses a tweening, but I would prefer that you find out what a spring module is and try to manipulate the door this way. But for now, I'm just going to use a C-frame value. All right, and we're going to insert a ModuleScript. We're going to rename it to door. Basically, what we're going to do here is we're going to make an object-oriented door module, which we will apply to every door in the game. Okay, rename that to door. Door dot underscore index equals the door itself. And we're going to start off with the constructor. Door.new. Function door.new. Then we're going to pass in right here in the parameters the model. I'm going to type that, assign types. Local self equals set meta table, empty table, comma, door. I'll explain what this does in a little bit. Return self at the end. We're going to go back up, make a new line right after self, set meta table, and we're going to set the model to the model itself. So we're adding fields to self. We need the model here. So we pass in the model in the handler or the managing script. Then self.prompt equals model. Find first child, which is a proximity prompt. And we're going to do recursive true. Then we're going to get the C-frame value. Model find first child, which is a C-frame value. Set that to true. Self.opened equals false. Self.bounce equals false. Self.closed C-frame equals model. Self.model get pivot. This basically takes the model's current position and it stores it inside self. Remember, self is just an empty table. We're assigning values to it with a key. Then we need to set opened C-frame equals self dot close C-frame times, and we're gonna rotate the door 90 degrees like so. Okay, and if you noticed here, world pivot, when we rotate the door 290 degrees, X, Y, Z, Y axis is rotated to 90. And you can do that for the opposite too. I'm going to go with positive 90. So C-frame dot from orientation, because we need to use the orientation relative to the pivot position. And we're going to do 0 math rad 90 comma 0. So now we're going to set up the trigger event. So you get your prompt and you call triggered connect function. And we're going to do self colon toggle. Okay. So this part is important because when it connects and it's triggered, the self colon toggle is a method that we're going to define down here. Toggle. So what this does is, because of our way we structure this object-oriented structure, door dot underscore underscore index equals door basically means this module will try to find a method from the module or the object itself first. Basically, it's a way to get IntelliSense like that, where you just saw me autocomplete toggle because I defined it down here. And we assign this to self, which gives us the ability to use this function anywhere within the door module or the doors itself. So we need this toggle, and then we're going to set the toggle function to do some C-framing. So first we're going to deal with the C-frame value. The reason why we have this is when the C-frame value, we're going to use that to tween the door. So we need a tween service. Get service, tween service. Okay. This toggle is going to tween the C-frame value. But first we need to connect the C-frame value to the model itself. So C-frame value changed, connect function. Then we're going to do self.model pivot to. And what we're going to pivot to is the value that is changed. So we read here, because we're connected to change, it's going to give us the value C-frame. And we know pivot to requires a C-frame value. So I'm going to pass in that parameter. Then we need to set the current state of the C-frame, because this C-frame object is currently empty. So when we start the game, we need to have the value set to the current position, which is closed C-frame. Okay. Now we set up the actual pivot part. If self.debounce, then basically saying if self.debounce is true, return else. So if we haven't activated the door yet, or the cooldown is over, self.debounce equals true, because that'll be false when we're done. Okay, then tween the door. We're going to tween the door model, or we're going to tween the C-frame value. Create self.C-frame value. And we need to pass in the tween service. Now we need to pass in the tween info. 0.5 seconds, most basic tween info. Then we're going to set value, which is a property of the C-frame value. Value equals self.opened and self.close C-frame or self.openCFrame. It can be a little confusing here, but the logic is when the door is opened, self.opened, we want to close the door. So this AND operator will pass back self.closeCFrame. So if this condition's met, opened is met, it'll pass closeCFrame. Otherwise, it'll pass openCFrame because open equals false. So therefore, it'll return the closed, or yeah, well, it'll pass in the open CFrame, the target value, or where we want our door to open. So it's going to rotate 90 degrees. Okay, and now we're going to play that. And then, actually, let's go door tween. We're going to assign this door tween to this because this returns tween object itself. So after that's been created, you do door tween.play, door tween.completed, wait, or you can do connect, or once. We'll do once to show you. All right. Once that's completed, once the door tween is completed, we do self.debounce equals false. And then we do self.opened equals not self.opened. Basically, it flips the values here. So opened equals false, not false, or not self.opened, it'll switch to true. That's basically how you get the script for the door module. Now, this doesn't work yet. If we play the game, it's not going to do anything. And that's because we haven't constructed the door yet to the game, or to the door module. So we need to make a script, and this is going to handle the doors. Because we have the door tag here, we're going to use collection service, game get service, collection service, and we need to get the door module. I'm going to move this to replicated storage, and we're going to get the service, replicate storage, and we need to basically get everything tagged door, and then we're going to apply this door.new to each door we have. So local doors equals collection service get tagged door. This tag needs to match this tag in string. It's always a string. Good practice is to always check if this get tag method returns an empty table. So if you can see here is table instance. If you don't have anything tagged, it's going to show as a length of 0. So we need to do if doors is greater than 0, then we require a door module, door, and we're going to do door.new. Oops. We're going to require a door module, then we're going to do for underscore door model and doors do. Basically, we're going to loop through the doors, and we're going to do door.new, and then we pass in the model. This key is underscore because we're not using it, and then we have v usually named as door because we know that this is a door in the table, which is the model. So I type that as model, and you just pass in the door. So now, when we play the game, this door will function. And since it's object oriented, and we're looping through the doors from a tag, we can make as many doors as we want. We can even change the orientation. And we can open them all. Like so. Forgot to anchor the doors. So I'm gonna do that. Anchor. So now you have a door module and you have a script that loops through all the doors and makes them functional. You can do this the same way you can do windows. Basically, any interactable in the game, you can use this structure. Just rename the door to, let's say, windows or pick up objects. You have this prompt here, you just have to change how it functions. And then you have your collection and initializing with door.new so that when you run the game, all the doors are connected to your values here. That's a good way to do doors. Thanks for watching.